This is old school. I'm calling out for scientists, researchers, experts in the field of microwave and laser technology to help make it make sense how a wooden or polywood play structure can stay intact with a yellow plastic slide that melted but wasn't completely destroyed, like the propane tank still left attached to the grill, a washer and dryer lying in a heap of rubble that used to be this poor man's home. Nothing but some metal left remaining. There's a distance shot. It had a cement wall nearby. This fire victim couldn't even salvage his son's coin collection.
Propane tank definitely is unnerving.
Yeah. Do you see this? This is my my audio interface. That was my music stand. And these were my drums, dude. You know, there's like a bunch of pennies here. These were my son's like in his collection. I'm not gonna take them. I'm just like, they're toasted anyway. Good gracious, dude.
We need to ask the serious questions. Was this a planned event or another coincidence like the Paradise Fires? Because Hurricane Dora was already 500 miles off the Maui coast. Lahaina Town itself is 9.3 square miles, of which 7.8 miles is land and 1.5 miles water. A friend of mine, Dr. Gordon Zucker, who obtained his PhD by studying at MIT and Columbia, he's in his 90s, but he told me that weather manipulation has been around for decades. It's fairly easy to do with cloud seeding and chemtrails, especially in small geographical areas like Lahaina Town.
Aloha everyone, Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com, and I'm super excited to be interviewing today Sheila Walker. She is running for Senate. She ran for Senate in 2023, running for Senate for Lahaina and Kihei. Also, she's running again in 2024. So get her name on your ballot. So Sheila, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today. I'm happy to share this podcast with your viewers.
So you were there for when the fire went down. Can please share your experience when you were in Kihei, right?
Mm-hmm. I was in Kihei. Kihei is about 20 miles south of Lahaina, and the power went out in Lahaina early in the afternoon, or actually early morning. Power went out, and so my friends from Lahaina were texting me, asking me if I could bring them some updates, because they said we don't have power, cell lines were spotty, cell service was very spotty. So they would say, can you tell us what's going on from your perspective? Do you see anything? Do you hear anything? And I was looking all over social media, all over our news to try to find out what was happening. And there were no updates. No updates, no reports of fires, spotty fires here and there, because that's how the wildfires kind of go off. But nothing important, nothing of any significance, nothing that sounded like an emergency throughout the entire day. Although people kept seeing smoke, and people would report flames, and we would see on social media flames, but our officials were not giving any reports. News, no reports, nothing anywhere on any of the channels. So everyone just kept going about their day, basically, and not really, paying attention, or not really thinking that anything was super an emergency, which is, now we know, looking back, super tragedy, because a lot of the deaths absolutely could have been prevented, which is just heartbreaking. So we knew there were fires happening in Lahaina, but we didn't know where. And we knew there were fires happening up country in Kula, but there weren't really enough reports on what the seriousness was. So again, we didn't really have the updates that were necessary in an emergency situation. So super tragic. Anyway, to continue on through the day, the school was let out in Lahaina, and then all the kids were sent home, and that was also, now we look back, a mistake. And huge mistake, a tragedy. But by 11:30 at night, so the day goes on. We know there's fires in Lahaina at some point in the evening, but not sure where. At 11:30 at night, I get a report, an alert on my phone that says evacuate your neighborhood. So my neighborhood of Maui Meadows was evacuated at 11:30 at night. And still, we're trying to find reports. Where are the fires? Why are we being evacuated? We thought it was in Lahaina. So they said the fires were coming our way. Come to find out, they stopped about 5 miles from our neighborhood. So they did stop before they got to my neighborhood, but we got alerts. My neighborhood got alerts, and we were evacuated. So somehow, some people got alerted, other people didn't. And as I was actually watching the mayor's report, his press conference from his office, just sitting back in his chair saying, yes, there's some fires, they're contained. He seemed super calm. He didn't seem very alarmed. But at the time he was videotaping this response, Lahaina Town was burning to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really hard
because
to
didn't you have reports that there were hurricane winds, and this is before this fire happened, I heard that there was reports that there's hurricane winds in the area and the fire danger is really high, so be alert. Was that going on before the fires, or was that?
It's true, strong winds, but even in my neighborhood, I didn't pull any of my patio furniture off of my lanai. It wasn't strong enough to like pull my umbrella off. So, and you know, if you live on Maui, you know that there's strong winds all the time. It's always windy there. So in my perspective, there wasn't anything super unusual. But high winds, okay, you kind of look at your furniture and think, oh, I need to bring in, you know, 1 or 2 of these chairs or something so they don't blow off. But I didn't even have to remove any of my furniture. So in my specific area in Kihei, the winds weren't that high. But somehow in Lahaina became some sort of wind tunnel that turned into some sort of fiery fury. So it was specific to that area.
Wow. So you guys were alerted, but Lahaina residents did not get any kind of warning. Their sirens didn't go off, which they should have, and they didn't have any text on their phone, but you guys got text on your phone.
We did get a text alert, and I still need to get to the bottom of where that alert came from. I don't know where that alert, I don't know if that's from Verizon, my carrier, or if it's from the government or what it was. It was not an Amber Alert. It was just an alert message that said, evacuate your neighborhood now due to fire conditions. And it told us the gym to go to. It told us to go to the gym at the high school in Wailuku. So we were supposed to drive that direction. But honestly, we didn't even know where the fires were. And the fires, in order to get to that gym, we would probably have to be driving through the fires. So a lot of people were skeptical to leave. They didn't want to leave, and they didn't want to leave their home. But there's, like a lot of places on Maui, almost everywhere, there's only one way in and one way out. So from Kihei, you can only go one direction to get out. So, and that was probably straight through the fires. So a lot of people were hesitating to even leave. At the end of the day, a lot of my neighbors did leave, and my landlords and I decided to stay, which looking back, I mean, like, we are so lucky that the fires didn't come all the way to our neighborhood, because we would have been burned alive as well, because there's just no escaping, because there's no other exit. So it's a failure on so many, like, in so many realms. It's just unbelievable that that this kind of failure could occur so epically on so many fronts. From the government, our leadership, everything failed us.
Have you been to Lahaina? Did you go to Lahaina after the
we
fires?
can't go. No one could go. They wouldn't let anybody in. Even if you had a home there that wasn't destroyed, they wouldn't let you in or out. And they even started to implement a placard system where you had to have the placards, but the people revolted against that. I'm so glad they did. They stood up and said, this is ridiculous that we can't get in and out of our own neighborhoods to get supplies. So they revolted against that, and the officials backed down and said, okay, we agree to let you back into your own homes. So the only way to get supplies, to go to Costco, to get anything for the people who live anywhere further west than Lahaina, is to drive through the one road that gets you in and out of there, which the road was not ruined. The road was totally safe to continue to drive on, but they were just trying to shut it down and control the area and not let people actually see the devastation that happened.